Hi, welcome to our newest documentary, Our Small Friends, based on the book Honor Thy Symbionts, where we return to the microscopic level to look at the microbes within us and see how they react to what we eat. I'm your host, Daniel Shen, and I will be taking you through this wonderful journey. See you there.
This is the human microbiome, consisting of all the microbes within our body. Most of them are actually found within our GI tract. They play an absolutely essential role in digestion, immune system, and are associated with the various diseases and symptoms, including irritable bowel system, obesity, autism, and allergies. As a matter of fact, scientists are able to determine with nearly 90% accuracy the status of lean or obesity of the host from simply the composition of their microbiome. This is heavily influenced by their diet. Let's take a step back in time to understand this better.
Here we see a wild human being, a prehistoric Neanderthal. Wow, I've never seen one of these before in the wild. What could he possibly be doing? It appears he is grabbing some leaves from the branches of some kind of fruit tree. All right, he appears to be leaving.
Hi, welcome to the lab. Here we have some samples from the wild Aborigine diet that we collected from earlier. We can see some agave plant in here, some prickly pear, and some wild grains. Now we can see that the Aborigines of old consumed a wide variety of different prebiotic fibers, consuming a large amount ranging from roughly 90 grams to 105 grams a day. Now let's take it back to the future to see what the modern humans eat. Here we see a more modern specimen, a typical American human eating some fast food with some of the major food groups represented. We have some fruit, a single vegetable, some carbs, a lot of sugary fast food drinks, and just to be safe, some vitamins. As we can see, the diets between the prehistoric human and the modern human are drastically different. The modern human only consumes on average 15 grams of fiber every day, coming from only 5 different vegetable sources: potatoes, tomatoes, leafy greens, lettuce, and onions. The average human in 2009 consumed roughly 2,500 calories, a diet that consisted primarily of carbohydrates, fats, and minimal proteins. The Aborigines, on the other hand, consumed primarily proteins with little carbohydrates and fats. Obesity rates, allergies, cirrhosis, and certain carcinomas are on the rise, and scientists are tracing these various diseases to the human microbiome.
An interesting specimen on planet Earth is the spider monkey. Spider monkeys could hold the key to the link between obesity and diet. They consume a relatively constant amount of fiber on a daily basis. This indicates that diet may be based on a quota of fiber. This could also be a cause of obesity. Most foods we consume have significantly high processed carbs and fats and less proteins. Maybe we consume more of these foods to reach our predisposed protein target level. It also may provide evidence for effects of types of diets. More processed food equals a less diverse microbiome. As we eat more processed food and food diversity decreases, as does microbiome diversity. Thus, microbial evolution paralleled human evolution. This also relates to meat and vegetarian diets. Carnivores degrade proteins as an energy source, while herbivores synthesize amino acids. Microbial environments develop to fit these type of diets, decreasing their diversity.
This is Dr. Shivam Gandhi, who has a PhD in the human microbiome and its inner workings. Dr. Gandhi, can you explain to us the difference between prebiotics and probiotics?
Sure. Probiotics are these bacterial microbiome, the bacteria in the microbiome, and prebiotics are the food that actually go to those bacteria in the microbiome, and sort of like the food for those bacteria.
There has been a lot of controversy surrounding these probiotic supplements that I've heard of recently. How effective are these probiotic supplements?
Well, it's like a forest. Like if you plant one species of plants all around this one tree, it's not that good because you have really low biodiversity and it's not actually that helpful. So in that case, those single probiotic supplements are like that. It's not as effective as we would hope.
What about fecal transplants?
But that's different. That's like planting a ton of different wildflowers all over the whole forest floor. And that's like putting a ton of seeds all over it. That is actually much more.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Can you explain what the GI index is?
So the GI index is a way of ranking foods based on their composition. So foods that have high GI indices are things that have a lot of that cause high fluctuations in blood sugar, and they're not that good for you actually. Things that are low GI have a steady, gradual increase in insulin and things like that. And those are a lot healthier and better.
Thank you, Dr. Gandhi.
Of course. Japanese people over history tend to have high age expectancy and healthier diets. A big issue pertaining to this is GMOs, organisms with their genome changed. For example, corn, which will have its genome changed for synthesizing proteins that kill caterpillars feasting on corn, prevent consumption, and increase the yield of corn. Another study was done within the people of Japan, focusing on seaweed. Marine bacteria that have genes to break down seaweed are commonly found on seaweed. Thus, eating seaweed equals retention of these marine bacteria. These genes are passed down to babies through vertical gene transfer of the microbiome. However, people in the US have no such gene present, as seaweed isn't important enough in the diet to be retained.
Hi, welcome back to the lab. Now, there was a study in the 1960s conducted on the Pima people, half of which stayed in Mexico and the other half went to Arizona in the United States. Now, let's take a look at their diets and their different lifestyles.
As we can see here, the Mexican Pima adopt a very rigorous, harsh, intense lifestyle. The American Pima, on the other hand, not so much. As we can see, the Mexican people and the American Pima people had very different lifestyles as well as very different diets. The Mexican Pima people consumed large quantities of fresh vegetables and fruits daily, while the American Pima people consumed primarily manufactured goods. These differences in lifestyle and diet result in the percentages of type 2 diabetes, seen in the graph to the right. We can see that men and women of both non-Pima Mexicans and Pima Mexicans have percentages of type 2 diabetes under 10%, while US Pima people have type 2 diabetes percentages up to 35 and even 40%. Ultimately, this study shows us that diabetes or obesity is not set in stone based on genetics and can be changed based on lifestyle and diet.
Another impact of society are related to babies, with the societal changes fighting nature. Microbes are transferred from mother to child through the birth canal and also through breastfeeding. However, with increasing C-sections and public taboo against breastfeeding, babies are receiving less diversity in their microbes, making them more susceptible to disease.
Hi, welcome back, and thank you for coming with us on this wonderful journey. We will see you in the next one.
Are you done?